Okay, for my video this week, I just wanted to talk a little bit about modeling in place. And as you can see, my house for the housing group has quite a few model in places. And the reason I do it is I just think that it looks a lot better than, just trying to find materials that look like they're siding or board and batten or trim or whatever else. I just think that actually modeling the things looks better because it casts shadows when you render and everything matches in color. So I just kind of wanted to go through and talk a little bit about some of these and show you how to actually model a few things. So here you can see I've modeled all these beams on the front of the house. So when it comes to stuff like this, the biggest thing is you just got to think about your work plane and what's going to be best to use to actually create the model in place. So as you can see here, I've got this I-beam, and if I go to edit in place, if I click it again, edit, you see that all I've done here is I've drawn an I-beam with the pink lines. This particular model in place was an extrusion, and the plane that I picked was just this concrete slab here because it made the most sense. So I just drew this out. It's an extrusion. If I click the check mark, it'll bring it back out of pink lines, and you can see the beam. So for each one of these beams, I kind of just copied these over as model in places, and then for these I set this wall as my the plane that I was actually drawing on, and it's just an extrusion as well. Same thing here. And for this beam here, I believe I set this beam's side here as my plane and just drug the beam across. So I think the biggest thing with that is just thinking about what's going to be best for to pick as your plane so that you can get the look you're looking for. You can see here I've done all this trim work is a model in place. The board and batten here. I'll just show you this as the pink lines mode, so you can see all the actual lines I drew. So with this here, I set this wall as the plane that I was going to work off, and as you can see here, I've got these extruded 1 inch off the building. So that's how I did that. One of the more tricky parts of what I've modeled thus far has been the clapboard siding. So how I did this was I actually did an extrusion. I'll show you how I did it. Edit in place. Extrusion. So I come to the back of the house and zoom in. You can actually see that I just modeled what looks like clapboard siding all the way up, and I use this back wall as my plane, as you can see here. This is how you toggle showing that plane on and off. But anyway, I just set that up on pink lines, hit the green check mark, and then I controlled how far it shot back. So if you come to this mode, if you just click on it, you can usually edit how long your extrusion is. As you can see, I just put that longer. Sorry about that, my computer has some issues and it's been doing, the screen's been going black. So the hard part about this was I obviously have this extrusion, but I've also got these windows in here. So you got to figure out, okay, well, you know, if I just ran this wild, none of these windows would be cut out and it would just show clapboard the whole way along. So what I did was I clicked on this, and then I did, so what I've actually done is I've created void extrusions around all of the windows in the actual clapboard siding. So that's kind of what I've done thus far. I'd like to kind of do a little bit of a tutorial on actually modeling in place. So I'll just begin with doing some trim around these windows to kind of show you guys how to do this. So you're going to come over to architecture, component, model in place. I usually just click generic models. I usually just use the generic name. I don't know that it makes a difference. But now I am in model in place mode, so as I've already kind of discussed, one of the more important things is setting your work plane. I usually use pick a plane because it's just easy to select the surface I want, and if you click show again, it'll show you so you can make sure you're on the right plane. You've got extrusions, blends, revolves, sweeps, swept blend, void forms. I would say the things I use the most is probably the extrusion and void forms. I can do most of the things I want to with those. So for the trim, I'm just gonna do an extrusion, and it brings you in pink lines mode. I usually use the pick lines tool, it's just kind of easy. So I'm just gonna pick the outside lines on this window here, and then I'm gonna offset it 4 inches so it's actually looking like trim. As you can see, it kind of comes up with a dashed line as to where it's going to actually place that trim, and I want it on this side. Sorry. So as you can see, I just click there, it puts the line out there, and puts the line out here. Okay. So as you can see, I've just created this rough shape. Something I like to do is if there's model in places or whatever that are going to be got a line in the wrong spot here, so I'm just going to delete that. Anyway, I like to just copy a lot of the same line work. So we'll come up with a copy tool, we'll grab the corner here, and then I can just bring it over to this window because they're the same exact size. And same thing with that window on the end. Anyway, just copying similar things, that makes the process go way quicker than if you had to come back and redraw all this stuff. But it's important to copy off a point you know is going to be exact and give you the same shape. So that kind of shows that. One tool I use a lot, I'll just kind of mess with this so that I can use the tool, is this trim extend corner tool. I use this a lot because when you're doing offsets, sometimes these lines don't actually connect. A situation similar to this. So all you have to do is click the first thing and then the second, and it'll connect that path for you so you don't have to Do it yourself. So yeah, if I click the green check, it's going to click these things, and as you can see, if I come over here in the constraints, I've actually got some negative constraints, but I want my extrusion to start at 0, and I want it to come out 1.5 inches. I'll just apply that, and then you can see these actual bump outs come. So another part of this is assigning materials to it, which I forgot to do. So you're going to come down to material, and this is how you're actually going to control the material on the model in places. I'm just going to make these white. And then as you can see, it changed the color. And you've got some trim on here now. Obviously I'm not done, but for the purpose of this video, I think that'll work. So hopefully this helps. As I said, I think model in place is something that really just kind of takes your models to the next level. It makes them look really realistic, and your renders are going to look a whole lot better than if you just try and assign material with a bump or something on it. So anyway, I hope that was helpful.